Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze, and this is part 2 of our Jordan Castro, Zach Melton Disc Golf Answer Man episode.
Hello.
It's been about 5 minutes since we hit record before. Well, about 5 minutes since we took a break from the last episode. You guys doing okay since then?
Yeah.
Okay. No, Zach.
No.
Okay. Zach's not doing so good. Yeah. He finished off his Thanksgiving Lunchable, so he is good to go. So speaking of Thanksgiving, what is it? Pretty much, Jordan, is it just traditional turkey dressing, mashed potatoes, or you guys throw in there anything different?
Yeah, it's usually just that.
Just the traditional stuff, huh?
The usual.
What's the dish that you're most excited about?
The dish?
You said the disc.
Oh, I thought you said the disc. It sounded like the disc.
He did say the disc. What's the disc? Jordan, what's the disc you're most excited about for Thanksgiving?
The dinner plate.
There you go. No, what's the dish? I'm sorry.
Usually like cheesy potatoes. I mean,
cheesy potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
From Bobby D's?
No.
Like, is it like sliced potatoes, like Idaho potatoes, or
It's kind of like
Idaho, but
hash brownish type.
like hash brownish shredded up.
Yeah.
What's the
Scalloped.
Scallop? That's the word I was thinking for scalloped potatoes. What about you, Zach? Traditional stuff?
Oh, yeah. All the traditional stuff, just as much food as you can see. For just like a normal, food, I think my favorite is my mom's broccoli and cheese casserole.
Ooh,
Oh, man, it's so good. So good.
Sounds so good, too.
My mom, of course, my mom and dad are in Panama this time around. They're spending the winter in Panama. I'm going to go visit them in January. I'm super excited about that.
I'd go visit them for like all of the winter.
Yeah. My mom makes a kick butt dressing, and it's so good. Everybody that has come over just say that she needs to package it and sell it. So good stuff. So I'm going to miss that this year. I'm going to go hang out with my brother, and I'm sure they'll have good food, but I'm going to miss that dressing.
Is it like a gravy or?
Huh?
Or like a gravy dressing, or what do you put it on?
George's like, what's going on here?
What's up, man?
I mean, it's the normal stuff, but she does things to, it's obviously not out of the package. And it's not like a cornbread and or anything, but she takes the bread and
She buy it from Walmart?
The bread?
No, the whole thing.
Oh, the whole, yeah. She takes the bread and cuts them up into the little cubes or little pieces, and then she lets them dry out. And then she does things like, and then the turkey, she'll make the turkey, and then she'll take little bits of the turkey, the like the thighs, the fattier meats of the turkey, and she puts that in there. So there's little pieces of turkey in the dry, and it's just little things like that.
It's the little things that matter.
It's just, man, it's just so good. I mean, when I make my plate, it's like, a little bit of turkey, a little bit of mashed potatoes, gravy, and then like a lot of dressing. So good stuff there. All right, let's get into the questions. This is, again, like I said, part 2. We're going to answer a few more of your questions so that we can bust through some of these and take advantage of these team players being here. This first one, we'll take it from Julie. Says, hey, Disc Golf Answer Man, and anybody else in the studio.
Oh, hello.
Hello. I have a question about my pop top fluid Truth, which is very overstable. Very overstable. I have a Pine, and they are similar in stability. My thoughts are that my Truth is actually an EMAC Truth, but it's not an EMAC Truth stamp. Can you provide your honest thoughts on my untrustworthy disc? Unfortunately, in Australia, we don't have any buyback programs. So I might be able to, maybe this makes sense to you. You have to know the evolution of the Truth disc to understand possibly what's going on. What I mean by that is that when the Truth first came out, it had the stability and the flight of what you're feeling right now, as far as, or what you know about as the EMAC Truth. And it was the disc that Eric said, I want this to be my disc. It's the Truth. And he threw it a lot. And then something happened to the mold, which it happened, and that started flying a little more understable. And Eric started noticing it, and he obviously let Latitude know, and they went to work on trying to figure out what was happening. They figured out the issue, and they have a new mold. And we were just going to get rid of the Truth, the Truth completely. But then we realized that people were liking the flight of the Truth because it had a little more, it was a little more understable than the Truth was originally. But then EMAC was like, but that's not my Truth. I wanted this. So we came to the decision to make the EMAC Truth and the Truth. So it is a little confusing, and we took a long time to figure out what direction we wanted to take with this because of the confusion in what might happen. But overall, we decided to keep the truth and then have the new truth and call it the EMAC truth. So possibly, I'm guessing, what you found was one of the original truths that still has the stability from way back when.
Don't the prototype verdicts have truth on the bottom?
There was a run of verdicts that said, no, how is it? I always get it backwards.
They were AM Worlds, right? The glow?
Right.
Well, there were blue ones and white ones. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they say truth on the bottom.
I think they're truth tooled verdict. And that was because the verdict was going to be the truth.
But it was too overstable.
But Eric said it's a great disc, but it's not what I want. And so that was, I don't know what happened. So that's what happened with there. So yeah, interesting story.
I got stacks of those.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What?
George holding on that.
Okay, so you and J Ray are like the two people I know that have stacks. And people want them.
They're hiding in the closet.
Are you just waiting for
Jordan lives
when you need a new car or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, this one comes from Justin. Just fell in love with disc golf a few years ago. I've solidified my form for my drive, although still playing rec divisions, driving about 325 feet, and my putting form is good. However, I'm having trouble with the mid-range, about 150 to 200. I can't seem to fall into a form that works. Any help or tips you can provide for a mid-range shot? I tend to use my same form as my drive with less power, but seem to not be consistent. Should the shot form be the same as the drive? What differences should there be?
Your form should definitely stay the same.
Okay.
I don't know I don't think I know any pros that change their form because they're throwing a different disc compared to like a putter or a mid or a driver, most of the time we're throwing the same way. And, if it's a 400-foot shot, me and Jordan are going to throw an enforcer, and then if it's a 200-foot shot, we're going to throw a putter, but we're still having the same form. We're just clubbing down and throwing a slower disc.
And probably like slowing down our run up too.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was something I heard Nate Doss say one time that makes a lot of sense in this scenario is that you need to let the disc do the work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In other words, picking the right disc. I see too many beginners that they're throwing something like a stiletto, something that's super overstable, and they're putting some super angle on it to get it to do what and I'm looking at it going, if you just threw maybe a trespass or something, it would do that without you having to put that super weird angle on it. Now, I know that sometimes you put angles on discs to get them to do certain things, but I just think sometimes they try to do too much work for the disc while they're not allowing the disc to do the work that it should be doing. All right, next one comes from Dalton. I've recently purchased a bundle of mystery discs to try new brands and got my first DD disc, a Biofusion Thief, or as Oakley calls it, a thief. Oh, he says it like that too, huh? Thief. A thief. The problem is I never know when to use a fairway driver. I would say I have intermediate arm speed, and I feel more comfortable using a mid-range when I don't need the distance of a driver. What kind of shot should I be looking to use the Thief or other fairway drivers?
Wooded shots that kind of fade to the right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I bag a Thief. I usually throw it for rollers, but some shots I need to push, say, 200 feet, then turn to the right. Depending on how much to the right, I can power it, or I can just ease up on it too. So just like a hyzer flip, turn and hold. So,
yeah, I think that's I think in the woods, possibly most of the time when you're in the woods, you don't have the ceiling that you have out in the open. If there's a place where he likes to throw a mid, but he's coming up short, throw the fairway because it's a little quicker, it's a little faster, and he can throw it the same way and it's going to go a little further.
Is there ever, so in the woods is really the only situation you would throw a fairway, because you would never throw a fairway to get distance, would you?
There's some fairways that go far.
Yeah.
I mean, a getaway is a fairway driver and it goes 400 feet for us. But, yeah. I mean, no, just kidding. Go to dynamicdisc.com. Getaway goes 400 feet.
No, the getaway does go good for a lot of people. But I was just curious if there's ever a situation where, a fairway driver would make good sense to become a distance driver or you would throw for distance. But I guess it just depends on
Could be a win too.
Yeah, a lot of times where I could see. Okay, I'll put it this way. I was practicing for GBO this year at Country Club with Peter McBride, teammate, and he wanted to take all the factors out of throwing drivers around Country Club with all the OB. He was pulling out the getaway and throwing it super straight, just down the middle of the fairway. He wasn't playing flex shots or hyzers or anything like that. He just was throwing straight every hole, and that's what he wanted to do, and he was comfortable doing it.
Same thing with Danny. I played a practice round here with Danny at the Country Club, and he's doing the same thing.
Danny throws the getaway? When did he start doing that?
And I'm throwing my Enforcer, and Danny's outdriving me by 50 feet every single time.
Got him.
Truth.
All right, this one's from that guy. Not this guy. That guy. I've tried everything to improve my right-hand backhand throwing and have failed miserably.
Throw left-handed then. Let's go.
So now I throw right-hand forehand and have a hard time trying to find a disc that I can really get some distance out of. Any suggestions?
I feel it's like it's kind of hard to say without seeing the throw or the form and the movement-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if he's just throwing a sidearm like really hard and kind of not controlled, then you're probably going to need an overstable disc because you're probably putting too much snap on it or turning it, and it's just
going over the top a little bit.
Yeah, coming over the top on it. Honestly, I would suggest if you want to throw further sidearm, you need to start out like you would backhand with less stable and learn to throw them smooth and hit them with hyzer and let them stand up, and then work your way up to faster distance drivers that you can kind of get to stand up.
Gotcha.
Smooth is better.
This one is from Pierce. I am 13 years old and my forearm throws go about 250 average, but my backhand only goes 125 to 130. I'm wondering how to improve my backhand. Is it just my form or something else?
It could be your grip. It could be your form. It could be how you run up, your movement on the tee. It could be a whole bunch of factors.
It's probably all the above. If you only throw it 125 feet.
Yeah, I would say definitely do I know we say this a lot, guys, but it's so important. Grab a video camera, grab your phone, videotape it, and put it on the Facebook page and see if people can kind of figure out what's going on with your backhand. Because if you're doing good stuff with your forehand, then there's no reason why your backhand can't be a little better. This one is from...
Yeah.
Jake, just wondering when the 2019 Trilogy Tournament will be starting. What discs can we expect? Types of from who and what not, and will there be any in the Cleveland area? I picked this one because, in fact, we had a meeting this morning. We talked about Trilogy challenges. The actual discs are still being figured out. We have a few in mind, a few selections of what we're going to do, but those are going to be figured out and revealed. They will start around the same time as they did in previous years, around the month of May. So around 2019 May. I can't remember if it's mid-May or end of May, but somewhere around that time. And as far as will there be any in Cleveland area, Jake, that is totally up to the Cleveland area because the Trilogy Challenges are the events that you can host or anybody else can host as long as they obviously order the packs that you need and get it ready at a course near you. So we'll give out more information on that as we get closer to the Trilogy Challenge season. But a lot of good things in the work for Trilogy Challenge 2019.
Yeah, I was just going to say, ask Bobby.
Thanks. Next one is from Justin. Hey, guys. I've recently moved up to Advanced, and I'm adding higher speed discs to my normal bag to account for playing longer courses. My backhand and forehand can break 400 feet, but I tend to throw very different discs to do it. My backhand, I tend to throw hyzer flips for max distance and use sheriffs and trespasses. But my forehand, I throw flat and beef up to criminals, enforcers, and defenders. How much of my bag should I dedicate to forehand and backhand? And should I aim for discs that overlap both?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, Wayne, give me a good answer.
Jordan, go first.
All right. For me, I don't really have like two sets of discs in my bag. Like I don't have just forehand discs or just backhand discs. I usually have discs in my bag that can do both. So, like, say I use a felon, I could use a felon for a flick and a backhand. For that, that's really, let's see, how should I say?
It's kind of personal preference.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought you were going to say it's kind of personal.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I am the complete opposite of Jordan.
Oh.
Yeah. And see, that works for Jordan. He throws his disc well, and that works for him. For me, discs that I like to backhand, distance drivers will say, like enforcers, I like to have a little dome on them, little pop. For sidearm, those don't feel as good in my hand as flat discs. So I've actually got a couple enforcers that are super flat. One's really broke in, flies like a trespass or a sheriff sidearm. I can throw an enforcer with hyzer. It stands up and then turns. And then I've got another one that I can throw hard and flat and it goes straight and then has some fade. But I don't throw them backhand because for backhand, they'd be kind of like bomber discs, so to speak, kind of understable drivers. And for backhand, I like the enforcers and the Ballista Pro. So I do have discs that I sidearm and discs that I backhand. But to me, it's just because of the feel. I like flatter discs for forehand and domier ones for backhand.
And I'm normally a dominant backhand player. Sidearm for me, it's just like here and there. I mean, I'm trying to work on that to get
You're definitely
better.
getting it there, though,
Yeah,
because you
for
threw
sure.
some bombs the other day.
Yeah.
All right, this one from Justin. Hey, Disc Golf Ashman crew, thanks for everything you do, including signing my Marshall, #Team Marshall.
Oh, you're welcome.
I wanted to get the crew's opinion on celebrating an ace by writing on the basket. Recently played a course where someone felt it necessary to write down birdie plus the date initials on the band. I felt it pretty lame to tag a basket in a public park for a birdie, but heard it is common in some areas for people to do for an ace. Is this harmless fun or an eyesore that shouldn't be condoned? I think you're going to get it unanimous from all of us that we do not condone.
Go for it. Oh, sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm with Bobby.
Way to ruin my
I'm
point
with Bobby
here.
on this. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we do not condone vandalism and that writing on a disc or basket, writing on a basket or the tee pad or the bench or anything like that.
It's frowned upon.
Come on, guys, don't do that.
Because you're doing it because you're a disc golfer and you love it and you're excited about your shot. But if you write on it, the next person that randomly walks by doesn't know, they're going to draw something that shouldn't be on the back. It leads to down a road you don't want to go down.
Take a picture and post it on Facebook. Steven asks, is it possible to throw a disc 100% flat with no degree of hyzer and hyzer angle? If so, should I work on trying to throw my discs 100% flat? I usually throw my straight shots with just a touch of hyzer and flip something up to flat.
It is possible. People do it all the time.
Yeah.
So should he be throwing it 100% flat?
Depends on the shot.
Depends on the shot and the disc.
Okay.
Yeah. I normally don't throw 100%. I mean, mine's probably like 75 to 80% wise.
Yeah, it depends on the disc. Like if I'm throwing something like a Maverick, probably going to throw a little bit of hyzer on it and let it pop up. If I'm throwing an Explorer, then I'm probably throwing it flat, or a Getaway, probably throwing it flat. If it's a beat up or Explorer or Getaway, then, probably going to have to give it a little bit of hyzer. So it all depends.
So it sounds like it's more the disc that warrants if you're going to throw it flat, or is it more the shot you're going to throw?
It could be both. I
They're
think.
both.
Definitely both.
All right. Next one comes from Andrew. Oh, wait. This is.
What up, Andy?
Oh, this is fantasy disc golf. I
thought it was fantasy football. I was like, let's hear it.
No. He said, which answer man had the best skill? We'll talk about this another time. Zach asks, what makes the harp a mid/putter and the anvil only a mid?
That's a good question, I guess. I look at the harp as a putter.
Yeah.
Because I think it feels like a putter. And I don't know. I hear some people say, well, if you look at the numbers, then it's the same as a suspect. A suspect's a mid. So, does it really matter?
I think it's just a name.
Yeah.
I mean, if you throw, I don't know, a lot of people throw the harp. So
I throw the harp. I love the harp.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an approach for me.
It's an approach / putter disc. But you can throw putters, you can throw mids.
Yeah.
Zach, you make it what you make it.
Make it what you want to make it.
And that's all that we need to know. Man Dude Bro from Fort Collins, Colorado says, I've been playing disc golf for about 5 years or so, and I just can't seem to get far distance on my throws. I throw mostly sidearms because my backhand is really weak. What should I do, or what disc speed should I use in order to start to get more distance? I'm around 250 feet typically. Yes. This is the part where you guys give me an answer.
Oh, okay. I thought Jordan was going to go first. We made this eye contact. He's like, I got it.
I was thinking.
I will say, real quick, to refer to the first part of his question, like, just because you don't throw it far, don't give up on it.
Okay.
He said, well, I throw sidearm further, so I just do that. But like, you're not throwing the backhand further because you're probably not throwing it. So when you go out and play a casual and practice round, throw a backhand for every shot that you throw sidearm. Throw them both. Throw them off every tee, off every shot. Throw it more, because the more you throw it, the better you're going to get at it.
Yeah, I've like sometimes when it's like I'm playing by myself back at my home courses, I'll do like a sidearm only round besides putting, just like off the tee. It's like I know I can throw these backhands already. It's just something I'm working on too to get that, build the confidence in case I have to do it in a tournament.
There you go. Next one is from, maybe see what you guys think of that. This is from Matt. This is about women disc golf.
Let's hear it.
I have a question about women's disc golf. All of the top women that play are really good at disc golf, but they seem to not do as well as men's golfer. Is it because men can throw farther? Secondly, since form is the most important factor in distance, why can men generally throw farther? I don't really see a reason that they can. Thanks for all you do, and I look forward to your answer. Coming at you with the hard-hitting questions.
Dang.
Probably get you guys in trouble.
That's deep. I know. You got to be careful with this one.
I think our bodies are just kind of made different wise too.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at most of the men's side pro golfers versus the women's side, they are very good, but we're built differently. We're built generally a little bigger, a little taller, and a little more powerful to throw a disc. That doesn't mean that women can't throw a disc far. That doesn't mean they can't shoot rounds that we shoot, because we see that every big tournament. There are women that are playing really good. There's this girl I know named Paige Pierce who's like maybe $115 and throws it almost like basically as far as that. Like when I play around with Paige, if I don't throw a good drive, I expect her to outdrive me, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the specific scientific reasons why men are typically stronger than women, but there's always exceptions to this particular rule or thought or whatever, because you're going to have, obviously there are women that are stronger than me, stronger than us. They can bench press more than us.
Yeah.
But I think kind of what Jordan said, men are just in general built differently than women. And so generally that usually that different attribute is typically on the physical side and the muscle fibers and all that stuff that goes into it.
But also I know men that can't throw a sidearm 370 feet.
I can't throw it 20 feet.
Sarah Hokum can throw one every bit of 400, I think.
And that's
close to it.
That's where the skill and the development come into play, because she has the skill and she's obviously developed it over time. Next one is from, there's no name there.
Anonymous.
Hey there, bras. Throw Squatch from Colorado. I was just curious if A, the Rocky Mountain Women's Championship will happen. Oh, okay.
Is that for Doug?
I guess the Rocky Mountain Women's Championship will happen in 2019. B, how do you sign up to be a volunteer for that event?
Contact the TD?
Yeah, contact the TD. I'm not sure what involvement we have with the Rocky Mountain. I know maybe we supported it, sponsored it. I think we're a title sponsor for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, right now, we don't have any information on that. I apologize. I would definitely go to maybe do a search on Facebook, look for Rocky Mountain
if it's posted online on PDGA, you can go to the tournament, click on it, and it pops up the TD, and it also has like contact email.
Boom.
Click it.
There you go.
Tell them you want to help.
A PS of the Torchy's Taco here in Northern Colorado. My treat. Nice. We might have to hit you up for that.
Don't tell Robert.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell Robert, because then he'll be the catalyst to get us there. This one's from Sam the Misprint Dude. Totally random. I got back into playing after 5 years. Moved somewhere with no courses. Ooh.
Sorry.
We just got one, so I bought a random DD misprint box and loved it. I would love a misprint mini to complete the look of my bag. That's awesome. I don't know if we have misprint minis.
I haven't seen it. I don't think.
I bet we do.
I bet we're somewhere.
I bet you a lot of the RVs get those. I bet you they have some of those. I haven't seen a misprint mini. That doesn't mean they don't exist. Misprint Sam is back. He says, my question, I have both a Westside Disc Boatman and a Sorcerer that I my home course that used for most tee shots. I have a feeling this guy used speak to text because it's spelled tee shots, TEA.
I take tee shots sometimes with a little
shots
sweetener,
too,
at a restaurant.
The Sorcerer for my straighter ones, Boatman when I need the big hard fade. They both go about the same total distance, just to different spots. I am wondering if it is possible to beat something like the Boatman into a straight flyer, then even to an understable, or by that time, will it be too unpredictable?
If you throw it enough, it'll get beat in. Any disc will. It's definitely possible.
You think it'll beat into a straight flyer, though? Or are you familiar with the Boatman?
I'm not familiar with it, but it will eventually.
Just hit a couple trees and.
Now that's a good question. When you guys get a new disc, do you do anything specific to beat it in, or you just make sure you just throw it?
I just throw it. I mean, I play a lot in the woods or around a lot of trees, so I try and navigate them. And sometimes I throw the disc a little harder than I want to, and it gets a hold away from me, and hits a couple trees and roads and stuff. So
yeah, I don't do anything to them, but I have to admit I did just buy a Justice like 2 weeks ago, and it feels great. And I have this idea that if I can beat it up a lot, it'll kind of be in between a Harp and a Felon for sidearms.
Oh, so like my Prime Justice.
Yeah, like your Prime. So I may or may not be throwing it into every tree that I walk by, and it still hasn't changed. But we're gonna continue with that for the winter and see how it's flying at Vegas. It may or may not be in the bag, but
winter.
I'm gonna try. Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking through some of these questions. A lot of these are just people giving us comments. So give me just a second. While we're doing that, let's play a little game.
Oh, game.
Maybe.
Robert McCall just walked in.
Roberto.
So if you only could pick 3 discs to play around, what would those 3 discs be?
Do we get to know like what kind of course or anything like that, or you just?
It's going to be the Emporia Country Club.
Oh Lord. Okay, so fast and overstable.
Well, tell me exactly which one.
Yeah.
All right. So I would take an Enforcer, a Getaway, and a Judge to putt with.
Getaway, a Fuse, and a Warden.
Now, why the Getaway for both of you?
Because it goes really far for a fairway. It's very controllable. For me, I feel like I can throw a Getaway dead straight 400 feet, and that is a great shot to have out there.
The other one was an Enforcer, you said?
An Enforcer.
Why is that?
Because I feel like every time I play country club, it's windy. So I feel like I need an overstable distance driver to handle the winds out there. And so there's some hyzer shots for me. And I need my Judge to putt with because got to have something to get in the basket.
And you said Getaway and then what?
A Fuse.
Oh, Fuse. Why the Fuse?
The Fuse.
Because it's his favorite disc ever.
Yeah. It's easy disc to get approach wise. I can make it go understable or overstable, just hitting that angle. And usually when I'm about 200 feet away, I can just spin jump putt with it and get me up underneath the basket.
I have seen Jordan jump putt from like 200 feet with a mid range. I was like, the first time I saw it happen in Nantucket, I was like, what was that?
Yeah, I grew up on a smaller course, so all the holes were like 200 feet, and I couldn't throw a backhand or a sidearm, so I just tried jump putting it, and ever since then.
All right, next one is from Dustin. Can you guys talk through how you deal with putts where something that should be inconsequential is in the path of your arm, or is in the path your arm would take, like tall grass or a small branch? This kind of putt always seems to get in my head, and I'm always seem to miss. Any pointers? So how do you deal with that when you have something in your way?
I usually don't think about it. I mean, I just tell myself, do what you do best is just focus and hit the putt, hit the line. And I throw some shots where I land in the woods often, or just like there's a lot of baskets that have obstacles around inside the circle.
That's
so
disc golf.
Exactly. It's like you throw a great shot, and you're still behind a tree in some bushes. So, I mean, it's going to happen. I just try and make it work and do the best I can.
Yeah. So whether you think about it or not, it's still going to be there. So if you decide to put your focus into worrying about that limb or that bush or that grass, you're not thinking about making your putt. So like Jordan said, you have to tell yourself, I know it's there, it's going to be there, it's going to happen, but you still have to dial in your putt and just go for it. You may clip it, you may hit it, you have to be able to fight through it and execute the putt. Worrying about it doesn't mean it's going to go away. And, if you're worrying about it, then you're not thinking, I need to make this putt, and you're probably going to miss.
I've made so many putts that hit the tree and go in, or like nick the branch, go in, and I hit the grass. It's just disc golf. It's going to happen.
If it's something like I'm going to hit with like a fall through my arm, it's just like, I know I have to fight through it. If there's, like he said, there's times where I'm like in a bad spot and it's like, well, I have a small gap, but it's probably going to clip some stuff. I just try to lock in on my line and putt it probably a little more firm because it's probably going to hit some stuff. So you need it to fight through. And like he said, I've made a lot of putts that have kind of made me laugh afterwards because it's just like, you got to go for it.
It's like, if I make this gap, it's in.
Yep.
Guaranteed. Like, that's how I look at it. It's like, commit on the line. It could be a foot in front of you. It could be 10 feet in front of you. You hit that line, it's in.
There you go. Here's a rules question. What is the protocol for assessing a penalty to someone who continually putts out of turn? Example, a player on my card in a recent seed tier would miss a putt, then run up to the basket, tap in, and proceed to the next tee box before the other three players would putt. Is this a courtesy violation?
It is a courtesy violation, but I feel like if it's speed of play, go for it. But if someone's doing it all the time, then you might say something about it.
Yeah, if they're doing it all the time, if it's bothering you or affecting you, it's your duty to warn them. And then they shouldn't do it again. And if they do, then it is a violation.
Right.
It can't be something that you're getting mad and telling the other players about, but you don't speak up and say anything to that player because he has no clue that it's affecting you.
I usually don't worry about it. I mean, nothing really bothers me like that.
Most of my experiences, most of the time people, and I'm guilty of doing it a few times before, people are like, you care if I tap out? You can see they're either frustrated or they're wanting to tap out on their way.
Right.
By most of the time people ask that I've seen, but if it bothers you, ask them not to,
Yeah, it's so important to, and I'm not trying to pick on you, although it may seem like I am for asking this question, but you can't let something bother you and then go and send it into a disc golf podcast show to see if you should say anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I have a feeling if it bothered him, he already knew it was a courtesy violation. He just wanted validation. And again, I'm not picking on you. I totally get it. But I think more of us have to, like Zach said, have to take it upon ourselves to say something in the moment rather than letting it affect you.
You're not the bad guy for...
Even though you'll feel like it. Now, let's be honest.
People feel like they're the bad guy for calling someone on a putt or on a stance or, people, that's the way I feel like disc golf has become is like if you call something, even though it's the rules and we're supposed to do that, people look at you like, wow, that's kind of messed up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think people are afraid to speak up and speak their mind. And I think there's a way of doing it. It's like, it's all about the delivery. If you go pull that guy aside the first time he does it and you go, hey, I understand you wanted to tap out, but it kind of bothered me that you just ran up and you didn't ask and I was waiting to putt and had to wait on you to get out of the way. So I'd appreciate if you didn't do it. Like if you do it the right way, that guy's probably not going to do it again.
Right.
But if you go, yo, bro, I want to putt, and come at him, that's just going to all spiral downwards.
Yeah. I want you to talk to me that way from now on.
Always.
Yo, bro.
Let's get a new question.
Yeah. See, exactly. Now I'm offended. No, next.
Courtesy violation.
That's a good question, though.
Yeah.
I think people, that's like a touchy subject.
It is. It really is. And, yeah. All right. This one's from Trevor.
I did not know you were going to say Trevor.
I didn't think so either.
Hi, I'm 25 and have been playing disc golf for about 4 years now and played 3 to 4 times per week. I spend a lot of time out in the field and seem to have a distance issue. I throw my verdict, thief, escape, and captain all between 300 to 330 feet on a controlled low straight line with a light fade at the end. My question is, what common form issues cause all of my discs to fly the same distance, from mids all the way to the drivers? P.S. I'm a small guy, only 140 pounds. That's what it is. You need eat a few more burgers and get some. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, you could try throwing left-handed, Nah.
Is that your answer for everything? Left-handed.
Always.
So what do you think? I mean, he's got all these different molds and he's throwing them about the same distance. Why can't he get more distance out of his drivers than he does his mids?
It's easier to get the mids up to speed versus the drivers too. Maybe he's just not hitting it right.
Yeah.
He's not getting the drivers up to speed like they're designed to fly.
I mean, the only really high, the thief and the escape. Well, the thief is a 7?
Thief is a 7.
Yeah.
Escape is a 9.
Yeah.
And now the captain is where you jump up to a
Way faster.
11 or 12.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So I can see with the captain where it's just too high speed. But the escape and thief, you would think he would be able to get a little bit more out of the escape. The thief, maybe not so much because it's not, it's not that much faster than a verdict.
Yeah.
As far as speed.
Yeah. Like he said, drivers, you have to be able to, like, someone who has a slow arm speed, a distance driver is just going to go kind of straight and then fade off really hard. Versus they can throw a mid or a fairway and it's going to be able to go further, straighter on the intended flight. So you have to be able to throw drivers like up to speed to get the distance out of them that you need. If you don't have the arm speed, then a driver's just going to be a meat hook, whether it's a captain, enforcer, whatever it is.
Yeah, I would almost like to suggest to him a Maverick, just because it's not super fast, but it's just got so much glide. It's so comfortable in the hand. And for myself, who's a slower arm thrower, I can still get some pretty good distance. Not like huge distance, but enough to where I'm happy that I chose that disc to throw. Next one comes from okay. This is the long one. Let's see. No, we'll skip. We'll say specifically mention Robert and EMAC again.
Do you think we could answer better than Robert?
Well, let's try. Let's see.
Ooh, got him.
We'll still save it, but
Sucker
this is from
into this one.
Oh, this is from Charles C. Rafe, Esquire.
Oh, hello.
Number 100189. Is that like the 100,000th Esquire, or is that his PDJ number? Probably his PDJ number.
Both.
I don't know if they hand out numbers for Esquire. Good afternoon, Disc Golf Answer family. It's almost 2019, and it's time for Disc Golf Answer Man to step it up. When will the DeGam fan finally answer the public's call and get a guest on the show to answer all of the Thumber Tomahawk questions?
Whoa.
Throwing overhand presents its own unique aspect to the game.
It does.
Shot shaping, disc selection, crosswind effects, etc. that are regularly overlooked on the show, and Robert and EMAC have made their contempt for these throwing styles. Thank you for everything you guys do. Hashtag Thumber Life. So real quick, just on one aspect of it, the reason you're not going to see someone that specifically talks Thumbers and Tomahawks is because not that many people throw Thumber and Tomahawks.
I feel like a decent amount of people throw them, but it's not like it's a go-to shot, or, there's a few people that have really gotten good with it.
Right, but 8 out of 18, let's say you're playing a tournament out of just a one day, out of 36 holes, how many are people going to be throwing? How many holes would you throw Tomahawk Thumber?
Well, that depends on the course.
Are you playing in California?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I have a course back home that you can probably throw Thumber on 8 or 9 of the tee shots.
You could.
You could.
Do you?
People, me specifically, no.
Yeah.
Right. Is there someone that throws them all Tomahawk?
Yes. I have,
And how many people are in that event? Let's say a normal event.
We could have 70 people at a beach area.
And so you've got one guy throwing 8 holes.
Say one. I'd say back home probably 5 to 6 guys
Really?
that I know of that'll throw overhands a handful of times in a round.
Yeah.
It is a skilled shot that
Oh, no doubt.
if you have it, It's very, very useful.
Right.
I don't want to brag, but I did just get my first summer birdie at the A tier fall colors in Williamsburg, and I had Chris Dickerson video it for me. Luckily, I made the putt, so I can claim it as a birdie. But the shot actually shaped up for a thumber off the tee pad. It's a pretty unique hole. The first 200 feet of it, it's straight. It kind of slopes off the left, and you're in the woods, so there's just trees everywhere. Okay, yeah. And once you get to the top, or to the about 200, 180, 200 feet or so, it goes downhill and kind of breaks left, and it's still sloped off to the left the whole way. And then you got to imagine there's thousands of trees around you, and it's a tight wooded tunnel. So if I throw a sidearm, let's say, which is what it's set up for, straight, and then as it fades, it's staying up in the air, and it drops off pretty drastically, like probably a 40-foot drop off to into the basket. So I threw a thumber, and it panned to the top of the hill, and then when it flipped, it's dropping and then hitting and skipping. It worked perfect for the shot. I can't throw thumbers far, but I can throw them shorter distance. Like this, probably max distance for me. It's like a 250-foot hole, and the last 50 feet's downhill. So, it worked out. But
yeah, back home, there's a tournament. It's about like an hour and a half away from me, and there's a whole bunch of evergreens. These fairways are probably 10, 15 feet wide, so they're super tight. And there's like 5, 6 guys that go there from Minnesota, and they throw thumbers or tomahawks constantly. Like they're shooting 1060 golf, just going up and over the trees, and everybody else is just throwing up the middle and struggling. So, I mean, I think it's nice to have, but I mean,
I wish that I could throw it further, because there are some spots where it's very useful.
Well, it sounds like you made the Esquire very happy with your points of.
Yeah, there's.
So in your Disc Golf Pro Tour last year, how many times did you throw a thumber?
0.
Exactly.
But that's because I can't do it that well. There are spots.
Well, but
I'm
it's
not.
But it's not important enough for you to practice it, right? Your forehand's important, right?
Well, yeah, but like I've tried.
Your straddle putt's important,
to throw
right?
Thumbers, okay? Like I can't throw them that far. I've tried, but I can throw it shorter distance.
Yeah.
Like I use tomahawks. It's a lot of getting out of trouble.
Correct.
Usually on wooded courses.
That's what it would be, I think.
And thumbers. It's where it's useful for me, where I see it.
So you think that we should have a fourth person on the show where every answer they give is thumber?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Just fly me out, and I'll just argue with Robert and Eric.
You just want to be on here to argue with Robert.
Absolutely.
Hey, I need help on my straddle putt. Just thumber.
Well, listen, just pull out.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we did.
You did it what? Yesterday you did a thumber shot?
You tried.
Thumber putt?
I tried. It was an attempt.
Should we call it a thudder?
Yes.
A thudder putt? A thudder shot?
OB.
But to answer his question, I think it is useful. I don't think you should rely on it as like your go-to, like your only shot, because then that means your backhand and sidearm, aren't up to par. But it's a good tool to have. I'm not going to say that it's useless or not. I'm jealous because I would use it occasionally if I had it. Robert's jealous because he just can't throw it.
Robert's just overall jealous. All right, guys. Well, we'll go ahead and call it quits on this episode. Thanks again for sticking around for part 2 of the episode of Disc Golf Fantasy Man with Melton and Castro. I had a good time. Got some good knowledge from you guys. So we talked a little bit on part 1, but tell us a little more about just what are you excited for 2019? I mean, lots going on with players changing sponsorship, lots going on with media, but how does that really when it comes down to it, how does that really affect what you've got going on for your game? And maybe it doesn't, but tell us what's going on in your mind as you prep for 2019.
I'm pretty excited to just keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
This was the end of my second year for Dynamic, and I feel like I've really got the disc in my bag down. I feel like we made some molds this year that were game changers. Maverick, Explorer, Getaway. Those were huge. Those are like my fairway discs now.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what I threw before because those worked so well. And just throwing them more and trusting them and learning the disc in my bag, like even more, where you really have faith, like you can see any shot, and just continuing the momentum of a good solid year, and to keep going forward, keep working hard and get better.
What about you, Jordan?
For me, it's just like performing better. I'm really motivated to play better. I didn't really have the best year, I think, in my opinion. I didn't putt well. I didn't approach well. And when I did, like my drives were there. It would be like one tournament, I would struggle with the putting. Next tournament, I would struggle with the driving. So I just want to put all the pieces together and just perform better at the top level. I mean, I feel like I can compete with most of these guys, and just watching and see what they do and just implement it into my game. So just watching, taking notes, and just kind of focusing a little bit better. Just being out there.
All right, good stuff. Well, thanks again, guys. Make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/dynamicdiscs. We got some fun stuff coming from Jordan and Zach, who did a practice round. I know you guys have seen the practice round with AJ, and we got Tina and Eric Oakley's coming out, and we'll have one from these two guys coming out as well.
Give us a follow.
Yeah, give us a follow. And then also right after lunch today, we're going to film another dynamic duel where we put Eric McCabe and Jordan Castro against Zach Melton, Paige Bierkus. Any predictions, gentlemen?
Team judge.
Well, me and Zach shot 18 down out there the other day.
Yeah, me and Jordan did happen to shoot 18 under at Jones East on Sunday.
Dang.
And we missed a putt.
Jordan missed many putts. Zach made lots of putts.
So what do we think? We're going to be McCabe, Castro, Victor?
I think it's going to be very close within a stroke or two, and it just depends on who maybe gets a few bonus putts, who gets maybe an eagle out on that course, because there are a few eagle opportunities.
My drives are prime. It's just we got EMAC for the putting.
You do have a good putter on your team now.
I think we're in.
And I'm counting on Paige to carry me because she's a world champion. So, like, I need her to flash that ring all day.
She didn't miss a putt on Sunday.
No.
She was perfect from 40 and in.
Yeah?
Pretty lucky.
Nice. So this will be a good one. All right, guys. That should be out hopefully within the next couple of weeks by the time this podcast is released. Man, I can't talk. We got to go. Time for lunch, baby. Time for lunch.
We have another question from Treasure.
From Treasure Island? All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next
guys.
Disc Golf Fans.